What's up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video. Put this out here. I don't know what it is about this door. This door is just that strong. But it's like, if I'm outside, this shit always black. Black men don't protect black. And I'm like, that. What kills me about stupid shit like that is I can't stand folks speaking through their emotions. Like, I really can't. I cannot fucking stand when people, that is, I gotta say this, that's some low IQ shit. It really is. When you got folks that it's that they're it's almost as if it's not a real person talking. It really is, and they're like, well, black women are not protected. I wish, whenever you ask like sisters, what the fuck does that mean when you say black women are protected? It always comes out as some nigga battle. It really does. It's like, how the fuck the very bitches that are hanging with niggas that are low key dangerous ass niggas. Not to say Tory Lanez is from Canada, but I'm just saying you can't be sexually excited by danger and then turn around. And when I say this, I get female nature, but that's not really what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is folks that are sexually excited by these social cues of bad guys, right? And then turn around and then talk about you're not protected. And BGS said it right. BGS said these are feelings, and black men really need to stop catering to them. And I know the video I did just a couple days ago, but I'm going to address this shit because it gets on my nerves. And it was interesting because there's a woman that gets on Donnie shit. Her name is Bianca, and that's the thing on her avatar. And she always want to talk about misogyny and get so hyper emotional. Like she tries to act like, she just has this, this fucking fake outrage bullshit. And so I've learned that whenever I present a point, but by holding black men accountable, she knows how to shut the fuck up then. She knows how to not like bark then. And I've been peeping that. So like, for example, with the shit with Megan, I could have easily said, these chicks need to stop being sexually excited by bad guys and then bitching about protection. But I remixed that shit. I said, okay. I said, if I was talking to a brother and a brother was telling me that crazy pussy's the best pussy, I'm gonna tell him, and every black man is gonna tell him. Well, they're not gonna tell him, but they're gonna be like, "Hey, that's do you." But if that same dude, after motherfuckers start keying their car and slashing their tires, yeah, they gonna say it's fucked up. But after the second bitch, they're gonna be like, "Nigga, you like crazy bitches, and that what comes along crazy bitches. You either need to stop fucking crazy bitches and shut the fuck up and take what comes with it." That's really it. Even dudes that are your friends are gonna say that, right? We don't sit there and basically say bitches ain't shit. It's like, dude, if you dealing with crazy bitches, you know that comes along with that. Unless them niggas are like you and was they doing the same shit. Otherwise, niggas are not gonna want to hear what other niggas gotta say about a situation, and they keep on doing the shit that leads to the outcome. They're the causation based on who they fuck with and who they're attracted to. That's a personal problem. Ain't no dude go, yeah, man, that bitch fucked up. And then, like, on the second, third bitch, you dealing with that, say the same shit. Even dudes that are quote unquote players and dudes like this is why a lot of dudes with alpha male strategies were always saying don't lie, because they was like, you're attracting that shit to you when you do that. Same thing why a lot of dudes who come at Ramil about pump and dump, a lot of them try to, because it's this feeling of you attract that shit to you. Even though that's kind of in I don't think that's accurate on that. That's what people say. But when it comes to women, it's like they can't understand that. They want to play the blame game. They want to be binary. And I was sitting there, and Danielle, I was going, talking to Danielle in the chat. We weren't really going back and forth, but I was responding to some of the stuff she was saying on fucking fucking Bernard shit. And she was talking about, well, y'all like to point fingers. I'm like, black men don't point fingers. We lay everything all of one to take. Y'all always want to take accountability off of you all. So you all think very binary. It's either all your fault or all somebody else's fault. And it can't never be your fault. You all are, because the society has trained men that even if it's not your fault, it will be treated as your fault. So men don't have the luxury of blaming other people. That's a power luxury. And black men, for the most part, don't have that. They don't. They don't. So the reality of the situation. And we're not honest with each other, Rico, because we care about other black men. Yeah, we do, but at the end of the day, motherfuckers don't want to hear motherfuckers like really. Most black men are not talkers like that. So if you a dude that you constantly talking about shit that you causing or that you got control over, at least minimizing, niggas ain't trying to hear that. That's really what that is too, cause they perceive that as bitching. That's how men perceive that shit. When you complain about some shit that you easily know if you stop doing this, you stop getting that, well then you're bitching at that point. And niggas have low tolerance for that because they ain't like niggas that try to fuck other niggas. Like so anyway, but anyway, back to the other bullshit. So, you know, let me compartmentalize. So it came back to the domestic violence shit, and it was this dude, Darth something, Darth Skater, whatever. He was trying to play like I invite you all to listen to the tape because he tried to deny what he said literally after he said it, but he was trying to basically he comes from a two-parent household, 42-year-old. And so he's trying to talk about, well, where did this toxicity come from? And basically, people like to do blame the government. In this case, we decided to blame the media. We want to blame hip hop for why black people are operating the way we're operating, even though we basically bleed into it. And the women definitely absorb it even more than the dudes, but the dudes absorb it too. And we can't. People like at the end of the day, you can't say I'm not gonna blame hip hop. At the end of the day, that's the shit you want to be like. I listen to the music just like you listen to the music. I can listen to hip hop music and understand that a lot of that street shit is a metaphor for getting money and getting success. That's how I can process it. If somebody processes that information as literally, then that's on you. And we like to talk about, well, man, they can't help but they grow. I don't give a fuck about that. I really don't. Because at the end of the day, all that shit is justification for doing what you want to do. At the end of the fucking day, you don't live in the third world. You're in America. There's motherfuckers that would die to be here. So I don't want to fuck it. You live in the information age. And a lot of these young dudes, these millennials, and a lot of these young millennials, they grew up in the information age. I grew up in the transition where information was, you know, an answer to a question is YouTube away. Learning skills, learning how to get involved. And at the end of the day, no matter what hood you in, you can always take your ass to the military. I mean, I'm dead ass with that. So a motherfuckers always like to charge shit. I'm like, I don't want to hear none of that shit. I don't. Because all you all are doing is giving excuses for motherfuckers. Oh, that's not really. Yeah, it is. And then people want to sit there and talk about, and then we came into it started to come into about domestic violence, and dude actually did try to allude. He walked it back once I checked it, but he tried to allude to the fact that black men whoop on our women. Like you have to actually, you need to do that video. Great title. Oh man, that's a great title. You know what? Fuck the past. Let's do it for real. The government made us do it. The media made me do it. I twerk. I bust that pussy open and I twerk. Shout out to O'Shea, bitch twerking in a fucking bathroom. OnlyFans. These dudes giving me money. They make me hoe out. Don't judge me. And then dudes will sit there and buy into that shit. Yeah, man, she couldn't help it. She didn't have a dad. Where the dad at? Well, you ask the bitch that let that nigga in her. I mean, we got 53% of black that don't have kids. Anyway, so my point is what I really wanted to say on that shit is I wanted to say, you know what? There's a lot of black women that they like struggle love. They are sexually excited by a dude that could potentially beat their ass. They are so masculinized that unless a dude is a clear and present threat to whoop their ass, they don't know how to be a woman. Unless they get in a white dick, which because he's white, they automatically submit because that's the fucking Jezebel hoe in them. That's real talk. That's what you want to say. And then motherfuckers will get all up in their fucking feelings and shit like that. Another thing that was pointed at that Bianca said, she was like, this is war. And I'm like, and I really wanted to just demolish that shit, but I just didn't want to be that type of guy that night. And they're like, this is war. What are you talking about? This is war. Are you fucking serious? Most black people buy into white supremacy. Most of your women buy into white supremacy. What are you talking about? Like Cynthia, shout out to Cynthia G. Cynthia G did a poll. 67% of black women out of 2,000 did listen to her said they are comfortable with white supremacy more than black men ruling it. And the BGS said that ain't nothing new. That's how they've been programmed. So that's normal in this society. You could go back 10 years and find polls that say that. And he said he pointed to, your the power dynamic. And now I'm gonna transition that. It was one thing that Danielle said on Bernard shit, is she said, well, do you expect, like, you expect women to change shit because you bitching about it? Like, do you expect women to relinquish their advantages because men are bitching about it? And she basically made the argument that basically saying that women, like, some but not all women, do what they do because the society allows them to do it. And she'll say, well, she wasn't justifying. She would say, well, she's not justifying it, but she's saying that's why women do it. And basically, if you listen to that clip on Bernard, basically she was making a campaign for why black women ain't good people. But the point is, my thing is, the bridge those two gaps is, when you talk about, saying that you justify something because you can do it. What you don't understand is the very system that people, women, black women, bitch about, that keeps them at the bottom of the sexual marketplace value, is the same system that they're making ATM withdrawals from. The same ATM machine that basically makes them deposit their ass at the bottom, the colorism, all that shit, is the same ATM machine that they withdraw from when it comes to their own power. Their own power that they're given to by the white man. Because they can't do this, but the bullshit they doing, they can't do nowhere else on the planet. And they barely, I don't even think you can really do it like that in Europe. Like, real fucking talk. This is why they're comfortable here. Because you can only get away with this here. So you want to make what you want to how can you complain? So my question is, if that's the truth, then how can you really complain about white supremacy? Because that's proof that you buy into white supremacy. You can't buy into white supremacy on this division, but on that division you want to complain about it. And see, that's the Chinese finger trap that a lot of psychologically speaking, that a lot of black women are in. And to be fair, because people say, well, you can't see that as a man. No, no, no. Absolutely. Black men will talk about Black Lives Matter. But would black men really trade the sexual marketplace advantages that they're given outside of white men, because we're seen as the most taboo in this country, that's actually made black men more sexually attractive to non-black women? Would they really trade that? I've asked this question, but the difference is black men for the most part ain't really bitching about getting shot. You know, you got Ty City on here talking about you either need to arm up, or you got Mr. Fantastic saying you need to stop doing bullshit that's putting you in that situation. So black men already have an answer for other black men, and black men are not out here constantly bitching about that. We No, nothing happened. I'm just commenting on some streams that I heard. That's all. So, but see, but that's the difference between black men. Black men are gonna basically say, okay, but we're going through a hell of a. See, that's one another thing that gets on my nerves, because one of the things, going back to Donnie shit, is it's always like seen or understood that black women have it the hardest. And when I hear niggas start to allude to that shit, I'm like, nigga, you're telling me how bought off you are, because the reality is black men go through a hell of a lot more in this country than black women. Black women don't really have a lot to run their mouth about. They really don't. Their issue is they want to belong to the society as a whole, and they want to be bought. They want to be treated like white women. So everything that they complain about is really is in reference or anchored towards that. And they may not like to admit that, but that's the truth. So this BS about, and see, and this is why in the black community you can never go nowhere and have a conversation, because the truth is, it's constantly, nobody can be honest. See, the problem that nobody wants to talk about, and this is where a chick like Bianca, shout out to, remember that rant I just had the other day? Well, you know, if you listen to Jessica X, this chick is a liar. Not Jessica X, but the chick, she got receipts on her lying. That Shayna chick. So she basically, so everything that I said was justified. And this is why I got annoyed with Danielle in the first place. Is like I already knew what she was doing with some BS. So the fact that you kind of low key gave her a little bit of cover, and then it turns out this, like I'm not gonna give. I'll give rope if people have been in this space and you're a content creator, you know what's up. And all of this constantly devil's advocate bullshit, all this, and it doesn't matter if that's what it is, that's what it's perceived. This devil's advocate bullshit, this a female point of view bullshit, this the opposite just to be the opposite. Right is right, wrong is wrong, facts are facts. Period. There's no a female perspective because the problem is the biggest issue as to why black men and black women are never going to come together like they need to is because number one, black women are too busy trying to get black men to fill in the gaps for what white supremacy want. It's almost impossible for most black women because it's impossible for most black women to truly ignite. Look, I'm gonna say this, and this is real fucked up, but I'm gonna say it. Black women acknowledging a lot of the fucked up shit they have honestly done as a collective group, whether it's them directly or in the past, is almost like a Jewish person acknowledging that they were a collaborator with the Nazis. Your brain, your subconscious psychologically won't allow you to do it. It wouldn't allow you to do it because you know your conscience is going to kick in and that's going to fuck you up. So what happens is a lot of these psychological buffers happen to get you to buy in over and over and over to the system as is because you can't really look at the truth as it is. This is why when we have these conversations, they all like. Here's the thing: when women all like, you got to look at what a lot of black women do, like Republicans and Democrats. Republicans are gonna come at you overtly. They're gonna tell you, "You ain't shit. We know you ain't shit. We really don't want to be around you." Versus liberals, what they're gonna or conservatives, what they're gonna do is they're gonna try to be nice to you, but at the end of the day, they want to use you. They want to use you just as much as the conservatives do. They just gonna have a different tactic as to how they go about doing it. And as soon as you show them that you can't be used, because you see right through that, then they start to turn completely into a conservative right in front of your eyes. Shout out to Marcus. He's seen that with white women. I've seen that. It doesn't matter. Our women is just like that. You know, some of them will be nice about it, but at the end of the day, they still want you to play that same cuck role. They just not gonna be as bullshit about it because they've shown that a little bit of sugar, honey, gets a lot more than a little carrot will get a lot more um, bang for the buck than necessarily a stick. It's the only difference. And then if you push them hard enough, you find that they'll start to say the same shit that the women you say is bullshit have been saying. There's very few exceptions to this rule. Very few exceptions. But if you think about it, they say the same shit, it's just in a different way, and then they get mad at you when you see right through that shit. They know what the fuck deal it is, but it's all about it's all about the hustle. And then when they say shit like, "Oh, well, we're not protected," what is there to protect? You can't. How can you protect females that think they better than you? No, who does that? Who does that? Like, show me one group of that is protected better than them. Well, you know, other races of men that protect their women beat the shit out of their women when they get out of line in their internal group. Arabs, you could argue Arabs protect their women more than anybody else. You could argue the more control a group of men has over their women, the more protected their women are. Pick and choose how much protection. Black women have the most freedom in America, so therefore black women have the least protection. And the truth is, black women are far more protected than any other. Let me be very clear here. Black women are more protected. Compare black women to Eastern European women, white women. Black women are far more protected than Eastern European women are in their respective countries. Black women are far more protected than Latin American women in their respective countries. The only woman that actually has probably more protection, has more of a protection freedom ratio than black women is probably white women in America and in Europe. I would challenge anybody to show me any woman that has the same amount of protection in relationship to the freedom against their men that they actually have. Other than Western white women and other than American white women. And you can argue, we'll argue, mulatto women or women that can fit that in the United States and in Europe. Outside of that, Black women are definitely up there, and BGS showed that. But the problem is black women base their own shit predicated on their own struggle. No, they don't. I've come to that because you said they are who they are. But what annoys me is a lot of Donnie Stream, and it bullshit. It was, oh well, black men have the least amount of power, right? So therefore, because they have the least amount of power and are right there, and because they're physically stronger, then it's natural. And then you trying to walk me through that black men beat up on their women because they don't have ability to like exercise their masculinity in any other parts of the country, which is actually not true. Because black men fucking non-black women is actually a way of them exercising their masculinity on other groups. Black men in sports and athletics is a way of exercising their masculinity. So that's not even true. I just went along with it to see where it was gonna go. But my point is that shit was a color purple argument, and I called that out, and then he tried to walk it back like he didn't even say shit. Like, oh, I didn't say that. I'm like, dude, these fucking conversations are recorded. What are you talking about? You really gonna make me go back and listen to it and really like line by line this shit? But see, he didn't even realize what he said. He didn't even realize where it was going. And so people come into this space, and it's like you all don't understand that we have like, come on, like y'all really don't. It's like how like these Africans come and shit. Like y'all don't understand what the fuck we talking about. Like, come on, man, y'all really don't know how much we've actually line by line go through this. And shit like that is a reminder as to how many dudes really out there are really kind of goofy when it comes. And he even said, "Oh yeah, man, sometimes dudes call me a simp." I'm like, have you ever asked yourself why dudes call you that? Like, have you ever really thought of like if people call me a certain thing? Have you ever really thought about why people are saying this? Are you really just writing it off? Especially if it's dudes that don't know each other and they're saying that. Anyway, I didn't want this to be too long. I just wanted to kind of come out here. Well, all of that. Well, you gotta. Well, the thing about the black girl magic. Look, remember this quote: "Black women are the most unbothered, yet the most bothered at the same time." And what that means is they occupy this real negative balance where they want to project to the world this strength, but all that is insecurity. It's like a chihuahua that can't stop barking. The chihuahua doesn't bark because it's confident. The chihuahua keeps barking because it's insecure about the world around it. Now compare that to a bigger dog like a German Shepherd or something like that. A German Shepherd is not going to typically be like nervous like that. That's all that is. That's all that is. Think of that esoterically, energetically, and that's really what they give out. And I, people. So it's always this. You have to validate me. That's why that's some but not all. But you don't ever hear black men saying some but all because if it doesn't fit, it doesn't matter. But what happens is women, oh, some but not all, some but not all, like all this shit. So it's very obvious to see when you see it. The only reason why I even comment on it still is because motherfuckers, when I'm in panels, a lot of what you hear me commenting on right now, like today and in the past, has been really after shows for conversations that I've had on panels. Well, at the end of the day, the only thing that really I mean, honestly, man, the only power that you have as a black man is your power of choice. Problem, because our problem is a lot will go in their own way. That's a fact. And then it's just two dudes that are realizing that. And then there's dudes that are deluded to that. Because they have this belief that no matter what you do, if you do enough, then these women will get right. And I'm like, okay, you can believe that. You will die believing that. You will go to the grave believing that delusion. When you know good and goddamn well that from a macro standpoint, and then Jason Black knows, Professor Black Truth knows, they've done videos to indicate that they know. They just don't want to focus on that because what they feel like is they feel like focusing on that is not going to move forward. but they know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. And this is why Jason Black, this is why when he talks about game, I'm like, dude, at the end of the day, you know, I'm not against game, but what I'm not going to do is game is not going to be turned into a fucking send off fucking mission. It's not. Game is not going to be this like everlasting send off fucking mission. And I'm like, if I'm talking to a motherfucker that's 44 years old and a millionaire and he ain't married, that tells me what the fuck I need to know. This is why, Glenn and Cameron, I got respect for Glenn and Cameron. Because even if you want to get married, he got something for you. But he tells you straight up like this. I mean, y'all need to go check out that video that Glenn and Cameron did about marriage. I didn't know he had a son. I did not know that. And a lot of motherfuckers that talk shit, that try to talk shit about him. First of all, what kills me about people that talk shit about Glendon is Glendon is the type of black man that that you like. Here's the thing. I'm sorry that he ain't gonna buy any little fucking ideology. But from an asset standpoint, let's take the money, let's take the check writing capacity off the table. Just if you send a lot of pro blacks over there and say, look, I'm economically pro black. I believe in Dr. Claude Anderson's work. Go over there and listen to this dude. You don't even gotta buy any of his shit. Just listen to what he's got to say, and then shut the Hotep shit off, and you'll learn something. And you can take that and bring that back to the streets. A lot can be done, but you can't even accept the financial information and wisdom from somebody that's actually been through some shit as a black man and made it out on the other side. You can't even accept that because you too busy crying because he's talking about the police ain't never roughed his ass up. So folks can't take that. So it's like, why do you listen to him? If it's that big of a deal, why do you listen to him? Because there is no ultra pro black Hotep. Even Dr. Claude Anderson ain't Hotep like that. And there is no Hotep pro black version of what you talking about. Think if Umar knew what Glenn and Cameron knew as far as economics, you think Umar would have his fucking school. Well, Boyce Watkins is like the closest you're gonna get to that. But the problem with Boyce is Boyce don't really give out a lot of quality, and Boyce don't give out a lot of quality information on his free shit. And even with the shit you buy, I mean, honestly, like I've bought a couple of courses from Boyce, and they're good. But now I bought enough. I can tell you right now, I've bought sales courses, and the truth is, some of the stuff that I've bought, especially I've recently bought for like $100, completely dwarfs to anything Boyce Watkins I would have paid for Boyce Watkins. Oh, that's fucked up. Yeah, kudos B for getting that information on that bitch. I hate lying bitches, man, because you know what? I don't have the time. Like, a lot of these chicks, I assume they're lying, but for the sake of argument, a lot of times I take what they say at face value just for the sake of argument. Because even in their lies, you can basically parse out some truth. What's up, grown man business? Well, man, dude, this is what y'all got. First of all, y'all got to like the thing about too many black men are like afraid that a chick is gonna come through, and then dudes are just gonna throw logic to the wayside. Let me be very clear here. Any of you dudes, let's say Jessica X just start wilding out and saying crazy shit. Any of you dudes that listen to any of these females just because of how they look, you a bitch ass nigga. I'm sorry. If you're in a red, cause let's be clear here. If you want to look at bitches for how they look, nigga, go get some Instagram thoughts on Instagram. Make a page, get a collection, and then when they go live, you can go ahead and simp over there. I mean, I don't, you can do that. I mean, look, I get it. I'm just saying when you in this space, you need to conduct yourself a certain type of way. So I don't understand why dudes want to hear women give them our affirmations that look good. Cause that shit tells me that clearly you're thirsty. And if you're thirsty, that means you're not getting the bitches you talking about getting. Well, I don't take a lot of people seriously, man. But it's not a. You don't have to take somebody seriously to address the argument. That's the thing. You got to remember, at the end of the day, when we're doing these panels for an audience. We're doing these panels for our audience, so even so I think too many people sometimes get wrapped up in talking to each other, when in actuality, this is why I always try to break shit down, because you got to realize what is the value for either the people listening live or the people that will be listening in the future. That's how I think. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, Nancy. I didn't know she gave Lacey Thomas a wrench. Now, it could be said that they gave Lacey Thomas a wrench because Lacey Thomas is constantly being defended. But anybody with an avatar like Lacey Thomas, or black women having big lip avatars, they telling you straight up where they stand. I mean, that's obvious. It's obvious where they stand. No, well, yeah, a lot of it's not so much they're scared to walk away. They got guilt. That's remember I told you, ego and guilt, man. You right. They don't need no game. And I'm gonna tell you that shout out to O'Shea with that video about dude and the HIV stuff. Remember, these are coming from the same folks that want to sit there and throw that culture shit at us. But when a white dude comes around, they run the zaddy faster than a lot of black women do. Glenn Cameron's not a goofball. I don't even know like why you would even say that. If like to be honest with you, Glenn Cameron is probably more SY. Glenn Cameron is, if you look at Glenn Cameron is probably more SY. Glenn Cameron, Dennis Sperling probably more SYSBM than than anybody out there. So I don't even know. See, and what kills me is people can't, like, niggas will come to me and fucking die on the sword of Tommy Sotomayor, but motherfuckers that have something to say about Glenn Cameron. I have no understanding as to why that is. I'm not overly impressed by him. No, the issue B is you. I'm gonna tell you what the issue you got B right now. I can tell you based on that statement. You got an issue where you like, if you like a dude, you get it from a different angle, man. That just is what it is. You saying, and at the end of the day, I don't respect, like really give me a logical reason as to why you got an issue with him. Really lay it out. Lay it out. Because if it's just, well, I don't like that nigga because I don't like that nigga, I just don't respect that. I can lay you out multiple reasons why I don't like Tommy Sotomayor, logically. And niggas just push that aside because they emotionally worship him. I'm telling you about Glennon because Glennon got the best information. First of all, as far as I'm concerned, probably Glenn, as far as to take somebody from zero to where they need to go, Glennon probably has the best information when it comes to game, from somebody that actually has done it, from somebody that was not always select. Glenn, as far as financially, Glennon's got the best information. And I'm telling you from somebody that's bought a lot of information. That's like so. But hey, it is what it is. I mean, that shit's proof that the information's out there. It's just niggas want personality, and that's cool. But you supposed to try to get somewhere. So it's not about me being overly impressed. It's about me telling you where the information is. I mean, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm asking you, give me a real reason. Because the reason, it's not about me impressed with him, it's about the information. That's what you're not understanding. I'm telling you to go fucking get the information. You the one is this, like, the only reason why I say Glenn Cameron is so you can fucking get, where it is. I mean, would you feel better if I said Hustlers Kung Fu and just didn't say his name? Would that make you feel better? It's the same reason I said Erica. It's not about me being impressed. Well, it's not about you. I mean, hey, my point is you don't have to feel him, but the reality of the situation is information is information. You know, I've had people when it comes to my business and my stuff talk about they don't like my personality. And I said, you don't have to like my personality. Good luck to you. Cause you're gonna still be broke 2, 3 years later. Cause at the end of the day, ain't nobody gonna tell you what I'm gonna tell you the way I'm gonna fucking tell you, and I'm not gonna come off with what the fuck I'm gonna tell you because you feel some type of way. I'm talking about when people try to come at me with that bullshit. Cause I've had people try to come at me, well, yeah, man, you know, I don't know if I'm feeling what you say. All right, man, you best of luck to you. Oh, that's it. Yes, that's it. Bye. And I've had people actually try to call me back. I say no. And when I was training other people, they said, well, why aren't you calling back? That's a sale. You know what? That's a fucking problem. That's a motherfucker that will buy my shit and then turn around and got something to say about why it don't work. Nope, fuck them. Nope. Is it like that? Yep, it is like that. It damn sure is like that. Folks don't realize, they think I'm prospecting when in actuality I'm interviewing their ass. They just don't know. And I hate to say it, but I usually have more problem with dudes than I have with females. It got to the point one time where I almost said, "Fuck it, I just want all my lead lists gonna be chicks." Damn that. It got there. It got to a point at one point because I was like, you know, a lot of these dudes they be on some hating ass shit. And at least when you dealing with women and you take sex off the table, and they know you ain't, they don't, you know, you ain't trying to fuck and they ain't got that power. If they looking for something, they gonna be like, all right, this dude can demonstrate he can get it. All right, I'm gonna do what the fuck I'm gonna do. They only pull that bullshit when they think they could show a little leg and get some advantage. But when you dealing with over the phone and shit, it's like no, 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 no. So I'm, you know, and at the end of the day, whether people are feeling him or not is not relevant. I'm showing you where the best information is. A lot of the people that I would promote are not going to be necessarily the most charismatic people, but those are the people that actually have the best information, really, without you having to pay for anything. I mean, and that's just real talk. The people that I promote are not like the people, because at the end of the day, most of the people that lead on charisma don't generally have that much to offer anyway. So it's really about what are your priorities. I mean, I could care less if none of y'all go over there. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I personally rather, if you all don't like him, I rather you all not go over there, because don't go over there and then be on some bullshit and then y'all came from me and then y'all making me look bad. So I mean, I'm just saying, because that shit happens too sometimes. And by the way, there's a whole bunch of people I don't ever mention to y'all at all. Like there's a whole bunch of white folks I could mention, but I know y'all gonna feel some type of way about that shit, so I don't. I've mentioned some of them, but I don't mention all of them. Myron Golden is a dude I could talk about a lot. Boys is too busy being moist. Just type in hustler kung fu. No, but real talk. That video that talks about his marriage. Son, he went in the. I appreciate y'all hanging out. And it's all good. It is what it is. Well, it is what it is. I'm gonna mention them because I don't get paid. I don't get paid to mention Glenn and Cameron. So it ain't like money's being taken out of my pocket by people not going over there. But anyway, with that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.